Welcome back to this weekend's Mounting Yard preview, looking ahead to one of the best days of racing all year across the country. We've got 4 Group 1s, the Everest, which is my favourite race of the year, and it's going to be sensational. Firstly, we'll start off with the Everest, my favourite race on the racing calendar. I think it is such a magnificent sprint. The best of the best truly win, and this year I think it is I Wish I Win's race. He's a magnificent animal. He's got this really beautiful black coat to him. He's an exceptional thoroughbred. He ticks all of the boxes in the mounting yard, and if you're looking at the yard in Sydney, make sure you see him nice and relaxed. That's a typical parade from him. He's an absolute professional. Hard fit first up. He was really forward in condition, and I trust the Moody camp to have him ready to fire on Saturday, and I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat in the Everest. I'll be on track at Caulfield for Caulfield Guineas Day, and race 3 is a Group 2, the Herbert Power Stakes over the 2,400 metres, and interesting race this one. Carini and how he presents on the day is going to be absolutely crucial. He's had 4 weeks between runs and he's up 700 metres in distance. So his fitness levels are going to be really important as to how this race plays out. Braden Star, Toey and Warm is normal for this horse, and United Nations, Toey is normal for him as well. Race 4 is the Group 3 Northwood Plume Stakes over the 1,200 metres, and 3 of the key horses in the market I all laid last start, so it's going to be really interesting to see if any of these 3 horses are looking better this time round. Red Card, did not like the way he presented it all last start. Really toey, really warm, quite wintry and a little bit off in the coat and quite lean and light. So very underwhelmed with the parade, and I think that was justified in the way he ran on the track as well. So hoping to see improvement from Red Card. Sarah Des, toey normal for this galloper, had a lot of fitness improvement to come both runs in this campaign. So I think third up should be finally fit enough now. And She Dances laid this horse last start as well. She was just quite underwhelming in the sense that looked very different to how she'd paraded previously. She got quite warm, she was a little bit off in her coat as well. She wasn't moving as freely as I'd like to see a horse, and she also had good fitness improvement to come. So they're 3 horses that I think have plenty of scope for improvement. Race 5 is the Group 2 Scalacci Stakes over the 1,100 metres, and Asora, the little pocket rocket, she's such a small but mighty mare. She's got so much strength and power about her despite being smaller on stature. She just has the guts and determination of what you see in a sprinter, and she's been absolutely flying this preparation. And not only has she been dominant on the track despite running into a smart one last start, she has been looking the best she's ever looked in her career. She's absolutely flourished coming into this campaign. She's been really fit, glowing in the coat, so I expect her third up. She's going to be rock hard fit at her best, and there are going to be no excuses here for us for her. I think she'll be really hard to beat. Uncommon James, forward, first up, but also had a lot of improvement to come. Was still wintry in the coat and was carrying a fair bit of condition, which is very typical for a horse first up and also for a sprinter because they're typically always going to be on the burlier side, but had lots of room for improvement, so hopefully we see a better parade on Saturday. Race 7 is the Group 1 Might and Power over the 2,000 metres, and the old boy, Alligator Blood, he has taken such good benefit from every run this campaign. 4th up here, there are going to be no excuses. He's rock hard fit. His coat's finally coming through. He was dappled up and glistening from within last start, and he's just an absolute box ticker in the mounting yard the further he gets into his campaign. Early on, he can get a little bit toey, he can get a little bit hot, but expect to see him nice and relaxed and very cool, calm and collected on Saturday. Just Fine, can't wait to get my eyes on this imported galloper having his 4th start in Australia. 3 from 3 down under, so looking to keep that winning record alive and really looking forward to seeing him in the flesh. Jewess, she looked spot on last start, and I think she's in for a really good chance as well. She's hard fit. Race 9 is the feature event on the card at Caulfield, the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas over the mile, and really ecstatic to see both Militarize and King Colorado coming down from Sydney. Militarize in particular, I've heard so many wonderful things about this horse and how he looks as a thoroughbred, so cannot wait to get my eyes on him and King Colorado as well. Stapati, the wonder that he is, he has been a magnificent horse to look at and follow throughout his career. The ultimate professional for a 3-year-old. He's got such a fantastic attitude on race day. He really takes everything in his stride. He drops his head whilst being alert and having a good look around, he's just the perfect parader. He's hard fit now. He's got a really nice summer coat on him, something that can be quite untypical for the Prushka gallopers. Strong. He just ticks all of the boxes from the mounting yard, so he is a very exciting prospect. She-Light, not much of him to look at in the mounting yard. Don't be deterred if you see him toey and warm. That's very normal from She-Light. And Wolfie, he's the horse that I think has improved the most throughout his career. First career start, wasn't thrilled with him on type. I thought he was a little bit on the lighter side. He didn't quite have strength where he needed it. He just looked a little bit immature in his overall well-being, and he has just flourished beyond comprehension. Within the one preparation, he just looks like a different horse now compared to that first start. He's brighter in the coat, he's physically more developed, he's strengthened, his attitude has improved leaps and bounds, and he is just a much more furnished horse, and I think that gives him really good chance for Saturday. Race 10 is the Group 1 Toorak handicap over the 1600 metres, and Amelia's Jewel is Australia's new queen of the turf, and this beautiful mare is an absolute gorgeous horse in the mounting yard. I love watching her parade now. Her first start in Victoria, she was at the back of the yard, and I thought there's no way she loses, and we saw how brilliant she was on that occasion. Her second start, so last start, I saw her at the Valley, and I actually made her a lay of the yard just because her mannerisms were completely different. She was actually refusing to walk into the mounting yard from the pre-parade at the back of the Valley. I think in hindsight, it just turns out she lights, and her being her first time racing under lights in the Valley is a very different nighttime atmosphere for a horse. So I think that might have just been what was spooking her, but it actually took about 5 minutes and Simon Miller himself to go up and help get her into the mounting yard because she just refused to go. She was walking backwards, she was trying to go back to her stall, she was just having a complete meltdown, and once she got into the mounting yard, she still wasn't fully settled like she was at Flemington. She was shaking her head around a lot, and she just felt quite agitated, and she looked quite agitated in the way she was walking around. So I thought at the price she had to be a lay. I think the ride won her the race on that day. I think if she settles any further back, she wouldn't have caught Pride of Jenny. I think she had a lot of improvement to come, and I don't think she was fully switched on racing under the lights. So the key for Amelia's Jewel, albeit winning last start, I do want to see her return back to her Flemington parade. So nice and relaxed, dropping the head, being far more calm and collected and composed in the way in which she walks around the mounting yard. I think that's the key to Amelia's Jewel. Stepping up to the Group 1 here in Victoria, I think she's not going to have this race as easily won. There's a few really good competitors, so she needs to be doing absolutely everything right on Saturday. Physically, though, she had come on leaps and bounds from her first up to second up parade. She was fitter, her coat was healthier, a little bit more summery. It was good first up, but it had a little bit of that hangover from the winter in it. So third up now, she should be rock hard fit, and I'm looking to see no excuses from the yard. And Tino, he's a small boy. I was really surprised when I saw him in the flesh at his first up run in Victoria. He's really small in stature. There's not much of him as well, but he's impeccably well balanced. He's got strength in all of the right areas. He moves particularly well. He's got a lovely free stride on him. Summer coat, forward fitness, he was ticking a lot of boxes first up, had minimal improvement. I didn't see him second up, but third up, I expect him to be at his peak. Pride of Jenny, she looked spot on last start. She just needs to have maintained her condition, and here to shock, don't be deterred if you see her getting quite warm. And that's a wrap on this week's Mounting Yard preview, taking a look ahead at what's going to be a sensational day of racing across the country, highlighted by the Caulfield Guineas and the Toorak down here in Victoria. It's going to be a cracking day of racing. It's essentially Christmas Eve, Friday night, looking ahead to tomorrow. I'm just that excited to get on track, as well as keeping a very close eye on what's happening in Sydney for the Everest and the King Charles. We've got Mr. Brightside representing us Victorians as well. Now, make sure you're following both Betfair and I's Twitter platforms, where I'll be posting the live Mounting Yard mail updates to get the all-important, crucial info live from the yard.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.